Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour. India and Angola agreed to deepen cooperation in energy partnership, infrastructure and defence. MOUs signed for cooperation in fisheries, aquaculture and marine resources. Prime Minister Narendra Modi terms Uttarakhand the heartbeat of India's spiritual life as the hilly state marks silver jubilee of its formation. Super Typhoon Fung Wong makes landfall in the northern Philippines. Over 1 million people evacuated from vulnerable areas. And hundreds reported missing after Myanmar vessel sinks near Thailand-Malaysia border. Search on for victims in Langkawi waters. India is expanding its partnership with Africa. President Draupadi Murmu is on a 5-day visit to Angola and Botswana, the first ever visit by an Indian head of the state to these two countries. The president's visit to Angola is focused on strengthening cooperation in defence, agriculture, energy, pharmaceuticals and space technology. Our correspondent reports from Luanda.
President Draupadi Murmu was accorded a ceremonial welcome at the Presidential Palace in Luanda, a historic moment marking the start of her first state visit to Angola. She was received by Angolan President João Manuel Gonçalves Lorenz with a 21-gun salute and a guard of honor, followed by bilateral and delegation-level talks. Discussions between the two leaders focused on expanding cooperation across priority sectors, from agriculture and defense to pharmaceuticals, energy and the space technology, areas seen as crucial for growth in both countries.
भारत का अफ्रीका के साथ एक विशिष्ट और ऐतिहासिक संबंध है। हम इंडिया अफ्रीका फोरम समिट के ढांचे के अंतर्गत सभी अफ्रीकी देशों, विशेषकर अंगोला के साथ साझेदारी के प्रति प्रतिबद्ध हैं। हम आगामी IAFS समिट के आयोजन की प्रक्रिया में है और उसमें अंगोला की सहभागिता की आशा करते हैं।
The two sides also signed and exchanged agreements or MOUs to enhance collaboration in fisheries, aquaculture, marine resources and cooperation in consular matters, further deepening the institutional framework of the partnership. The visit also marked Angola's inclusion in two key India-led initiatives, the International Big Cat Alliance and the Global Biofuel Alliance, aimed at biodiversity conservation and clean energy transition.
और अंगोला की साझेदारी आपसी विश्वास, परस्पर सम्मान और हमारे लोगों के समृद्धि भविष्य की साझा दृष्टि पर आधारित है। हम द्विपक्षीय साझेदारी को बढ़ाने और क्षेत्रीय व वैश्विक मामले में विचारों के आदान प्रदान के लिए निकट सहयोग कर रहे हैं। हमने नई क्षेत्रों में व्यापार और निवेश संबंधों को और विविध बनाने पर सहमति व्यक्त की, जिसमें टेक्नोलॉजी, कृषि, स्वास्थ्य, रक्षा, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और पीपल टू पीपल टाइज शामिल है।
The Angolan president hosted a state banquet in honor of President Murmu, reflecting the warmth and growing friendship between the two nations. India and Angola also share close people-to-people ties, and New Delhi continues to champion Africa's voice on global platforms as part of the Global South.
Both the countries have showed their mutual interest in strengthening the bilateral relation between both India and Angola, and cooperation in multiple sectors including defense, aviation, pharma, agriculture is expected in the coming times. With camera person Shailendra Chauhan, this is Dipendu Mondal from Luanda in Angola for DD India.
DD India correspondent Dipendu Mondal joins us from Luanda, Angola now. Hi Dipendu, first of all tell us something about the sense of great goodwill between the two countries, which has characterized the visit of President Murmu to Angola.
Well, Tanvi, hello. Hope you're doing well. And of course, this visit marks a landmark event in terms of the deepening ties with the African nation and India. This is, of course, the first ever visit by a head of a state from India to Angola. And we have seen throughout the day today, both, the president of India and the president of Angola have shared warmth and mutual respect for each other with respect to, hosting the delegation that has been accompanied with the president of India. And of course, multiple memorandum of understandings have been signed between both the countries. The president of Angola have also expressed, their willingness to join the International Big Cat Alliance and the Biofuel Alliance, which was, of course, initiated by the government of India. It was under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership that the Biofuel Alliance was proclaimed in New Delhi in 2023 during the G20. And Africa, and in fact, Angola being a major a major producer of oil in the energy sector, has agreed to be a part of the Biofuel Alliance, showing that India and Angola's deepening ties, and also to the fact that the International Big Cat Alliance is also another key takeaways from the meeting that has happened today between the Angolan president and the president of India. And apart from that, Tanvi, there have been multiple agreements in sectors like agriculture, pharma, aquaculture, and marine, and in sectors like marine fisheries. The president is also, along with her, having a delegation from the Ministry of Agriculture, and the MOUs Agriculture Government of India is also part of this delegation, who was, in fact, there when the delegation level talks was happening, which led to the final outcome of the MOU in the agriculture and fisheries and marine aquaculture is concerned. So therefore, several high-level talks, delegation-level talks had taken place throughout the day between both the leaders and both the heads of the state here in Angola's capital city of Luanda, where we are currently. And, the tomorrow's day also seems to be action-packed for the president, with, the president addressing the National Assembly, which is similar to the Parliament of India tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, Debendra Mondal, for all those details. Debendra Mondal reporting from Luanda, Angola. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Silver Jubilee celebration of the formation of the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand in Dehradun on Sunday. On the occasion, Prime Minister Modi laid foundation stones for various development initiatives worth over 8,000 crore rupees. Prime Minister Modi termed Dev Bhumi Uttarakhand the heartbeat of India's spiritual life. A report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday participated in an event marking 25th anniversary of Uttarakhand's formation. PM Modi inaugurated and laid foundation stone for development projects across Uttarakhand. These initiatives include drinking water, irrigation, technical education, energy, urban development, sports and skill development, sectors critical to the state's growth and infrastructure strengthening. In a major boost to the agricultural community, Prime Minister Modi released 620 million rupees directly into the bank accounts of over 28,000 farmers as part of the PM Fasal Bima Yojana, offering enhanced financial protection against crop losses. To mark the Silver Jubilee celebrations, PM Modi also launched a commemorative postal stamp honoring Uttarakhand's progress and the spirit of its people. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also received an overwhelming reception during a vibrant roadshow in Uttarakhand. Thousands of people lined up the streets to greet Prime Minister Modi. While addressing the event, Prime Minister Modi said that Uttarakhand is the heartbeat of India's spiritual life and it has the potential to become the spiritual capital of the world.
उत्तराखंड ने 25 वर्षों में विकास की एक लंबी यात्रा तय की है। अब सवाल ये है कि अगले 25 वर्षों में हम उत्तराखंड को किस ऊंचाई पर देखना चाहेंगे। आपने वो कहावत जरूर सुनी होगी, जहां चाह वहां राह। इसलिए जब हमें ये पता होगा हमारा लक्ष्य क्या है, तो वहां पहुंचने का रोड मैप भी उतनी ही तेजी से बनेगा। साथियों, उत्तराखंड का असली परिचय उसकी आध्यात्मिक शक्ति है। उत्तराखंड अगर ठान ले तो अगले कुछ ही वर्षों में खुद को स्पिरिचुअल कैपिटल ऑफ द वर्ल्ड के रूप में स्थापित कर सकता है।
Extending his heartfelt greetings to all residents of Uttarakhand on the occasion, PM Modi assured that the Government of India stands firmly with the Government of Uttarakhand and is committed to supporting it at every step. PM concluded by conveying his best wishes for the happiness, prosperity and bright future of every family and citizen of the state. Bureau Report, DD India.
More from Asia. Malaysian authorities have recovered at least 7 bodies after a boat carrying migrants capsized near the Thai border. Officials believe that the boat was carrying undocumented migrants who departed from Myanmar, part of a group of at least 300 people that had split between several vessels. Police said that the boat that capsized near Thailand's Tarutao Island and just north of Malaysia's island resort of Langkawi was carrying some 90 people. Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency said in a statement that 3 survivors were found on Sunday in the waters around Langkawi, as well as 6 bodies, taking the overall death toll to 7. At least 13 people have been rescued alive. The bodies recovered on Sunday were of a girl and 5 women, without disclosing their nationality or ethnicity. You're watching DD India News Hour. Still to come on the show. Donald Trump slams Obamacare, urges Republicans to end filibuster, says Democrats destroying their great miracle economy. Russia says it has captured Rivne in Ukraine's Zaporozhye region. And King Charles III leads Britain's annual ceremony of remembrance for the country's war dead.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse. Is the United States China's debt trap strategy? Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. In a series of early morning posts on Truth Social on Sunday, President Trump slammed the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, calling it the worst healthcare for the highest price. Trump also argued that Republicans should redirect federal money that currently goes to health insurance companies under the Affordable Care Act and give it to individuals. Pay the people, not the insurance companies, Trump reiterated in a similar post on Sunday morning. Trump's posts come as lawmakers remained at odds over how to reopen the government. So major US airlines braced for a third day of government-mandated flight cuts on Sunday after rising air traffic control staffing shortages snarled thousands of flights on Saturday. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, instructed airlines to cut 4% of daily flights starting on Friday at 40 major airports because of air traffic control safety concerns. The shutdown, which has reached a record 40 days, has led to shortages of air traffic controllers who, like other federal government employees, have not been paid for weeks. Reductions in flights are mandated to reach to 6% on Tuesday, then hit 10% by November 14th. The FAA said on Saturday that there were air traffic control staffing shortages impacting 42 airport towers and other centers and delaying flights in at least 12 major US cities, including Atlanta, San Francisco, Chicago and New York. Some 1,550 flights were cancelled and 6,700 flights delayed on Saturday compared to Friday, when 1,025 flights were cancelled and 7,000 flights delayed. On to Europe now. Thousands of military personnel, veterans and members of the public gathered in London on Sunday as King Charles III led Britain's annual ceremony of remembrance for the country's war dead. King Charles laid a wreath of red paper poppies on a black background at the base of the Cenotaph War Memorial near Parliament. Erected over a century ago to honour the British and Allied troops killed in the First World War, it has become the focus of annual ceremonies for members of military and civilian services killed during that war and subsequent conflicts. The Russia-Ukraine conflict continues to intensify, with Russian forces on the verge of capturing the eastern city of Pokrovsk after weeks of heavy fighting. Kiev, however, denies those claims, even as Pokrovsk lies in ruins. Russian forces also claim to have captured Rivne in Ukraine's Zaporozhye region. What's evident is that both sides are targeting energy infrastructure. Russian strikes in recent weeks have crippled Ukraine's power grid, leaving millions in the dark.
The Russia-Ukraine conflict continues, with Russian forces poised to finally capture Pokrovsk in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region. Earlier reports indicated Russian forces were close to seizing the city amid intense fighting. If confirmed, the capture of Pokrovsk could pave the way for further advances toward Ukraine's fortress belt of cities including Kramatorsk, Kostyantynivka, Druzhkivka. Ukraine has denied Russian claims that its forces in Pokrovsk were encircled. Once home to 60,000 people, the city is now largely deserted and devastated by months of battle. Meanwhile, Ukrainian strikes on Russian energy infrastructures have left more than 20,000 people without power in several border regions. Fires were reported at power facilities in the Kursk and Voronezh regions. In response, Russia launched massive overnight attacks on Ukraine's energy network, leaving the country's power generation at zero and killing at least 4 people.
The strike was massive, with a lot of ballistic missiles. There were at least 25 ballistic missiles, as well as aeroballistic and cruise missiles, and more than 450 drones of various types. It was a very flagrant, largely demonstrative strike.
With diplomatic efforts stalled, both sides continue to battle for the control as Ukraine struggles to restore electricity and heating following the latest wave of Russian strikes on critical infrastructure. Ravin Chauhan's report for DD India.
Netanyahu said on Sunday that the identification process for remains handed over by Hamas will begin immediately. The body received via the Red Cross today was believed to be that of Israeli officer Hadan Golden, who was killed in the 2014 Gaza war.
Lieutenant Hadar Golden fell heroically in battle during Operation Protective Edge 11 years ago. His body was abducted by Hamas. which has refused to return it throughout this entire period. During all these years, successive Israeli governments have made great efforts to bring him back.
Red Cross vehicles were seen on Sunday transporting the body of a deceased soldier identified by Hamas as that of Israeli soldier Hadar Golden. Israel has received the body of Golden from the Red Cross in Gaza. According to the Israeli Prime Minister's office, the transfer of the remains comes amidst a fragile ceasefire that has eased hostilities between Israel and Hamas-led militants. While the ceasefire has reduced the scale of violence, tensions in the region remain high and the situation continues to be closely monitored by international observers. Syria's President Ahmad al-Shara arrived in Washington on Saturday for a historic official visit, the first by a Syrian leader since 1946. His arrival comes a day after the US removed him from its terrorism blacklist. Shara, who led rebel forces to overthrow Bashar al-Assad last year, will meet President Donald Trump at the White House on Monday. The two leaders first met in Riyadh earlier this year during Trump's regional tour. US officials expect discussions on Syria joining the US-led coalition against the ISIS. Members of Iraq's security forces cast their ballots on Sunday in a special voting process 2 days ahead of the election for the general public scheduled for Tuesday, November the 11th. Sunday's early vote allows members of the security forces, the internally displaced and prisoners to cast their vote. In polling stations in Baghdad and Mosul, security forces lined up to cast their votes through this year's electronic voting system meant to help prevent voter count manipulation. Iraq's general election will be its 6th parliamentary vote since the US-led invasion toppled Saddam Hussein in 2003. On to the Philippines now. Super Typhoon Fung Wong has made landfall in northern part of the country on Sunday. In its latest bulletin, the weather agency said that the center of Fung Wong made landfall in the Aurora province. At least 2 people died as Fung Wong lashed the central and the eastern parts of the country with heavy rains and strong winds, cutting power in large areas of Bicol region ahead of the landfall. A report.
Even as Philippines recovers from the aftermath of Typhoon Kalmaiji, which killed around 188 people and brought much devastation, the Southeast Asian archipelago was battered by another super typhoon, Fung Wong, on Sunday. Super Typhoon Fung Wong slammed into the Philippines' eastern seaboard on Sunday after killing at least 2 people and forcing more than 1 million to evacuate their homes. The storm, with a radius spanning nearly the whole of the Philippines, made landfall in Aurora province on the main island of Luzon at 13:10 GMT. Earlier, the super typhoon, with sustained winds of 185 km per hour and gusts of up to 230 km per hour, lashed central and eastern parts of the country with heavy rains and strong winds, cutting power in large areas of Bicol region. The highest alert level, signal number 5, was raised over southeastern and central areas, including Catanduanes, Camarines Sur and Aurora province, while Metro Manila and nearby provinces were under signal number 3. Elsewhere in Vatican City, Pope Leo prayed on Sunday for the victims of Super Typhoon Fung Wong. Pope Leo said he is praying for the deceased and their families, for the injured, and for those who have been displaced. Scientists warn that storms are becoming more powerful due to human-driven climate change. Warmer oceans allow typhoons to strengthen rapidly, and a warmer atmosphere holds more moisture, meaning heavier rainfall. Bureau Report, DD India.
Myanmar's military is demolishing nearly 150 buildings linked to a notorious internet scam hub bordering Thailand amid ongoing crackdowns on fraud operations. In an update in state mouthpiece newspaper, the Global New Light of Myanmar, the junta said it would It has found 148 buildings, including dormitories, a 4-floor hospital and a 2-story karaoke complex. Sprawling fraud factories have boomed in war-torn Myanmar's loosely governed border regions, housing workers, targeting unsuspecting internet users with romance and business cons worth tens of billions of dollars annually. Many workers are trafficked into the internet sweatshops, but others go willingly to the compounds, which are often furnished with luxury amenities for the criminal bosses and their high-earning staff. Last month, Myanmar's military announced a raid on the infamous scam center, KK Park, discovering more than 2,000 scammers and sending 1,500 people fleeing over the border to Thailand. In Senegal, thousands of people gathered in Dakar for a massive rally organized by the ruling party, the African Patriots of Senegal for Work, Ethics and Fraternity. The demonstration reflected growing public concern over corruption and economic challenges facing the country. Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko addressed the gathering, urging reforms to restore transparency and accountability in governance. The event marked one of the largest political mobilizations since the party came to power in Senegal. Fire and Emergency New Zealand reported on Sunday that 8 helicopters and 3 planes are combating a wildfire burning 1,100 hectares in Tongariro National Park. Aerial reconnaissance will assess damage on Sunday, with full containment expected after a day of operations. 6 fire trucks and 5 tankers support the ground efforts. 40 hikers were airlifted on Saturday, 9 more evacuated on Sunday. Overnight operations were paused for safety in the rugged terrain of this popular central North Island hiking area. INS Sahyadri, an indigenously built guided missile stealth frigate, is participating in the multilateral exercise Malabar 2025 at Guam in the Northern Pacific. The exercise marks India's commitment to regional security, interoperability and maritime cooperation with partner nations. The harbour phase includes operational planning, communication alignment, familiarization visits and sporting events, while the sea phase will feature naval drills such as joint fleet operations, anti-submarine warfare, gunnery and flying exercises. INS Sahyadri's participation highlights India's self-reliance initiative called Atmanirbhar Bharat and its growing role in international maritime engagements. Still to come on DD India News Hour. An expert take on the outcomes of President Draupadi Murmu's visit to Angola. Holy relics of Lord Buddha enshrined at the Thimphu Monastery for the Global Peace Prayer Festival.
Goa, a wild paradise.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. Going back to our top story, President Draupadi Murmu's historic visit to Angola, the first ever by an Indian head of state. To discuss this, we are joined by Amrit Lugun, former senior Indian diplomat on the show. Welcome, sir, to the program. Could you first of all tell us a little about the history of India-Angola relations?
The history, Angola, as many people will know, was Portuguese territory. and India helped the movement for the liberation of Angola in the after the liberation of Goa, which also happened to be a Portuguese territory. And Angola also, after independence, had joined the non-aligned movement, which was being spearheaded. One of the spearhead was by India. Soon after it became independent in 1975. In 1976, it seems they joined the non-aligned movement, and in 1985, the two countries established diplomatic relations, and very soon our then Prime Minister, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, had made a bilateral visit to Angola, and which was followed by their then President, Mr. Dos Santos, who was very active in this MPLA movement, who had visited India next year. And then there have been a lot of series of visits. Dr. Manmohan Singh met again Mr. Santos on the sidelines of G8 meeting. Mr. Modi, I'm talking about the high level area. Mr. Modi had met the current president, Mr. Larsen. So in these on sidelines of the BRICS meeting in Johannesburg in 2018. But earlier, the Angola, which is very rich in energy resources, especially oil and gas, which India needs, and also it has good agricultural land. But earlier, because of India itself being a closed country, we had limited exchanges, especially in trade and others. But after the opening of India, and also India developing its own capacities, especially in defense, telecommunications, space, and also through remote areas where we have engaged Africa in through this e-Arogya and e-Vidya Bharati for education and health. And Angola is a good beneficiary. So that has energized the relationship. And Angola, of course, comes from the Lusophone or Portuguese speaking countries, not the natural English one. Though interestingly, the other Portuguese speaking country, which also gained independence along with Angola, at the same time Mozambique, which is on the eastern side of Africa, they have joined the Commonwealth. So Angola comparatively was more aligned because of being on the west side, towards looking towards west, especially their former colonial master Portugal, and then to some extent Brazil. In fact, the famous Brazilian footballer Pele had Angolan origins.
Okay.
So.
Yes. So you've explained beautifully about the history of India-Angola ties. Let's talk a little bit now of the more concrete outcomes of President Murmu's visit to Angola. India and Angola have signed 2 MOUs in the fields of fisheries, aquaculture and marine development, and the other one on consular matters today. In what ways do you see India helping Angola, especially in fisheries and related sectors?
I was coming to that. So in the recent past, we have upgraded the relations because of these factors we historically have become energized. And in 2017, though after a very long time, we signed this joint commission agreement, which was the first meeting was held between the 2 foreign ministers, Mr. Jai Shankar and therefore his counterpart. And Mr. Jai Shankar as EM continues to be there. And Angola, off the coast of Angola, right on the west coast, we have a big, the waters are very rich in fish because of the natural currents which flow there. Another country which has this rich resources is Namibia, which is neighboring down south of Angola. So when President the Angolan president, when he visited India in 2025 this year only, in May, after the Pahalgam episode. So we had signed a lot of agreements, and agriculture and maritime and fisheries have been one of the areas where the Angola has a lot of potential. It has very good soil, and that way the potential wise it is considered by experts to be underpopulated. Lot of agriculture lands are there, but incidentally, because of the Angolan conflict between MPLA and the other force of UNITA, a lot of these mines were laid down in Angola. So unfortunately, Angola should have been an food exporter, imports a lot of food, but because of the oil and gas money through which they are able to afford that. But if you go to Angola, the food is pretty expensive. So India can play a very big role, which has been pioneering in green revolution. And India, at the time of independence itself, was a net food importer. Now we have become a surplus country and export lot of food. So, so that our agriculture expertise, both in crops and irrigation, etc., can help a lot Angola, in developing its agriculture potential. And we have been offering a lot of line of credit to Angola, even as recently when their president had come in this year. Our prime minister had announced a line of credit of $200 million. And unlike many other African countries, Angola, since it's a big oil producer and also in bilateral trade, if we see, unlike many other countries, especially in Africa, they have a huge trade surplus with us, because they are the second largest oil and gas exporter to India after Nigeria. Out of $4.2 billion, so our exports is 700 million only, and their exports is much more because of this factor. So that way, these lines of credit, etc., they will not have any problem to repay, if we consider the payment factors. So it's a very, very good potential to build on that.
Okay.
In agriculture. And the other one is on the other MOU. Just slipped.
It's on consular matters, and the one
consular also. So Angola, I was coming to that. The Indian community also has grown. Now it is close to, I believe, 7,000 as per the latest report. About only few years back, it used to be 3,000 to 4,000. So nearly the number has doubled. Again, because of language and distance and other factors, it is not grown. But Angola, I know Angolan visa has been quite difficult, and for our Indian nationals, especially going to work in the new projects which are coming up. So this will help in movement of people, and again a big potential opens for the movement of people from both sides, and Angolans can come also to India. Is there one of the ways by which we help the African countries is through our ITEC program, Indian Technical Economic Cooperation. And Angola, the seats allotted has increased, but it is much lower than many similar populated and sized countries.
Okay. So the Angolan president, sir, today said that he would like India's help in medical education and training. He also wants Indian pharma companies to set up manufacturing units in his country. So given India's considerable capabilities in this area, what is your view on collaboration in medical sphere?
Yes, in fact, in the first the joint commission meeting after it was set up between the two foreign ministers in 2017, they say better late than never. Pharma and health was one of the primary areas where cooperation was discussed. And Angola again, being a former Portuguese territory, and also not having developed its pharma and health industries, but it has earned a lot of money because of export of oil and gas. So it has been importing a lot of medicines, especially from Europe, etc., which naturally becomes very expensive for the local population. So Indian medicines are known to be worldwide, to be of quality, but also very affordable. That is what I've seen. So so naturally, Angola feels that in this sector where a lot of resources are getting drained out, they can attract Indian companies to invest, to export more, and therefore the potential is very, very high, because health is something which everybody needs, and therefore there is a big potential, and that people can come and get trained in India also, in developing the health at the hospitals, pharmas, etc. But and also Angola can be a hub for not only for Angola itself, but for from there to export to other countries like Congo is a very big country, Namibia is there. So if they can offer good terms and conditions and give protection from security point of view, this is a very, very large potential where India is also strong worldwide.
Okay, yes. Angola has also joined two major global initiatives led by India, the Global Biofuels Alliance and the International Big Cat Alliance. Your views on this, sir?
Yeah, I mean the Angola also when had joined later, this International Solar Alliance, and the Indian side then had proposed to them, they or invited them to join this Indian Biofuels Alliance, the Biofuels Alliance, and also the Big Cat Alliance. So Angola is likely to play a very big role, because this year also Angola, we must also remember that has assumed the presidency of this African Union, which has become very strong. And African Union during the G20 summit, which India hosted last year, was made as a part of the G20. So both, in this time when the climate change is threatening the world, so biofuels have gained a lot of importance, and Angola, as we just had discussed, has a big agriculture potential. So they have the potential to grow crops which can help towards producing more biofuels, and also the wildlife and tiger population, mainly lion in Africa, they are a threatened species, and Angola has lot of forest still. I mean, not to the same extent is known like in Tanzania or Kenya, where there are lot of safaris, but Angola is a very big territory. So reforestation and the big cat population protection, it can play a major role, not only in Angola itself, but also in Africa, now having assumed the presidency of African Union. So this is a good time for Angola to join, and it's also a good time to encourage them to move forward. It will only strengthen the alliance if Angola takes these measures which we just discussed, in developing crops which can produce biofuels. Though, of course, Angola challenge will be a little bit, because Angola is a big producer of oil and gas. So there may be some reluctancy in developing biofuels, but in the long-term point of view, because both this hydrocarbon resources is likely to get exhausted in year to term, and also with the growing sensitivity towards climate change, the biofuels importance worldwide will go up, as we see in Europe, in Asia, and other South America, Latin America. So if they realize, and if they have a good if they show a good visionary leadership, it's a good potential, and the fact that they have joined these alliances shows their commitment, at least in the present regime.
Okay, India's engagement with Africa continues. Tomorrow will be a special day again for President Murmu's interaction with the Indian community and addressing the Parliament of Angola. Thank you very much, Amrut Lugunji, for being with us on the show.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, a special Buddhist festival is underway in Bhutan. It's called Global Peace Prayer Festival. It brings together followers of Buddhism from all over the world to pray for peace and harmony. Making this occasion special are the sacred Buddhist relics from India that are on public exposition in Thimphu. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be participating in the Global Peace Prayer Festival during his upcoming visit to Bhutan.
When Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Thimphu, India-Bhutan spiritual connection will also be in focus. We are at the Global Peace Prayer Festival here in Thimphu. It's a historic gathering of Buddhist leaders, peace advocates from around the world. Prime Minister would be participating in these festivities. Also making the occasion special are sacred Buddhist relics that have been brought from Delhi to Thimphu for a public exposition.
Atmosphere reverberating with Buddhist chants, prayer flags waving in the wind, and gathering of followers as far as the eye can see. In a world increasingly characterized by conflict, polarization, and discord, a transformative spiritual gathering is taking place in Thimphu. The Global Peace Prayer Festival brings together an unparalleled assembly of eminent lamas from all schools of Buddhism within Bhutan and beyond, uniting their voices for the healing of humanity. The Global Peace Prayer Festival is taking place from 4th to 19th November. It coincides with the 70th birth anniversary of the 4th King of Bhutan, Jigme Singye Wangchuk.
This festival means to be a world peace festival for us, and it is a Buddhist festival between India and Bhutan. And we are very excited to see Prime Minister Modi here in Bhutan.
This event is especially for the spreading of Buddhism all over the world and showing how our Buddhism is true. And we welcome Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, to Bhutan.
As a symbol of shared Buddhist heritage, sacred relics of Lord Buddha from India are on public exposition in Thimphu during the Global Peace Prayer Festival. Earlier, a high-level delegation led by Union Minister Viren Kumar carried the sacred relics to Bhutan. The sacred Piparawa relics of Lord Buddha are amongst the most venerated objects in Buddhism. In a post on X, PM Modi expressed heartfelt appreciation to the people and leadership of Bhutan for the reverent welcome accorded to the sacred relics of Lord Buddha from India. His Bhutanese counterpart, Shering Tobgay, thanked India for allowing the sacred relics to be brought to Thimphu. During the upcoming visit to Bhutan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in the Global Peace Prayer Festival and offer prayers to the holy relics in Thimphu. Presence of sacred relics from India and Prime Minister's visit are expected to reinvigorate the spiritual and cultural connect between India and the Himalayan kingdom. With camera person Saurabh, Shubhendu Ghosh, DD India, Thimphu.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Bhutan from 11th to 12th of November. The visit builds upon India's Neighbourhood First policy. It will highlight the development partnership between India and Bhutan. DD India's Shubhendu Ghosh reports from Thimphu.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit the Himalayan kingdom of Bhutan. We are in capital Thimphu. This is the political, economic and cultural heart of the kingdom. India and Bhutan share deep civilizational bonds which have matured into modern development partnership. India happens to be the largest trade and development partner for Bhutan. If you look at the trade volume, it has tripled since 2014 to the tune of over $1.7 billion. Now, hydropower projects happen to be the cornerstone of the development partnership between the two countries, in the sense that India helps fund and develop these mega hydropower projects in Bhutan, and Bhutan exports the energy back to India, and it becomes one of the largest sources of revenue for the kingdom. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Thimphu, he's going to be inaugurating a mega hydropower P2 hydropower projects. It's over 1,000 megawatt in power production capability. Bhutan happens to be a pillar of India's neighbourhood first policy. Prime Minister's visit to the Himalayan kingdom is expected to take forward the close ties between the two countries to greater heights. With camera person Saurabh, Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India in Thimphu.
India's Social Justice and Empowerment Minister, Dr. Virendra Kumar, who is leading the high-level delegation to Bhutan carrying the sacred relics of Lord Buddha, spoke exclusively to DD India. The minister highlighted the deep spiritual connection and enduring friendship between India and Bhutan, describing the Global Peace Prayer Festival a reflection of the strong cultural and spiritual bonds shared between the two countries.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का भूटान के प्रति बहुत ही सहृदयता का भाव है। यहाँ पर विश्व शांति प्रार्थना का एक महासभा का कार्यक्रम भी चल रहा है 10 दिन का। ऐसे समय पर देश के प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने यहाँ पर रिलीक्स को यहाँ पर भेजकर और स्वयं प्रधानमंत्री जी भी 11 तारीख को यहाँ पर रहने वाले उपस्थित रहने वाले हैं। ये आने वाले समय में भारत का और भूटान के रिश्तों को बहुत ज़्यादा गहरा भी बनाएगा और भूटान भी अपने आप को भारत के सबसे नज़दीक समझता है।
So also on the occasion, Bhutan will mark the 70th birth anniversary of the 4th king of Bhutan, Druk Gyalpo King Jigme Singme Wangchuk, on the 11th of this month. The day's significance is heightened this year as it also coincides with the descending day of Lord Buddha and the ongoing Global Peace Prayer Festival in Thimphu. The 4th king of Bhutan, Druk Gyalpo King Jigme Singye Wangchuk's birthday is celebrated annually as a national holiday. Streets in the capital city of Bhutan have the former king's portraits raised on all important places. Every district in Bhutan will observe the day with various programs and events participated by all people from all walks of life. Druk Gyalpo King Jigme Singye Wangchuk coined the concept of gross national happiness, emphasizing well-being of citizens over economic growth. Back in India, campaigning concluded for the second phase of assembly elections in Bihar. A total of 122 constituencies across 20 districts will go to polls in the second phase of Bihar elections. The first phase of the Bihar Legislative Assembly elections was held on November 6th for 121 constituencies with the highest ever voter turnout of 64.66% in the history. The counting of votes will take place on November the 14th. And very quickly, let's tell you about Serbian legend Novak Djokovic, who won the 101st title of his career when he came from behind to meet Lorenzo Musetti 4-6, 6-3, 7-5 in the final of Hellenic Championship in Athens. The Serb is one of the just 3 men to have bagged a century of titles. He still needs 2 to equal Roger Federer's tally, while Jimmy Connors heads the list with 109 trophies. At 38 years and 5 months old, the 24-time Grand Slam winner is the oldest tournament winner since Australia's Ken Rosewall, who was 43 when he won in Hong Kong in 1977. It was Djokovic's second title of 2025, having won in Geneva in May. Meanwhile, Djokovic has pulled out of the ATP finals with a shoulder injury. He will be replaced by Musetti. Elena Rybakina clinched her biggest title since Wimbledon in 2022 by defeating world number 1 Arna Sabalenka 6-3, 7-6 at the WTA finals in Riyadh. The world number 6 put on yet another serving masterclass and was at her returning best. She has become the first Kazakh and the first player representing an Asian country to lift the WTA finals trophy. Her winning streak now stands at 11 matches and she improved her head-to-head record against Sabalenka with 6 wins against 8 losses. Rybakina was the last of the 8 players in the singles field to qualify for the WTA finals in Riyadh. She will finish the year ranked number 5. Guwahati on Sunday witnessed its first ever air show over the mighty Brahmaputra river as thousands of spectators gathered at Lachit Ghat to witness the event. The air show was organized by the Eastern Air Command of the Indian Air Force as part of its 93rd anniversary celebrations. The skies above Brahmaputra came alive with aircraft such as Rafale, Su-30 Mark I, Mirage, Tejas, Apache helicopters executing several rounds of aerial formations, enthralling the massive crowd.
आपके दाहिने अर्थात पूर्व दिशा से आते excellence maintained with precision.
আচ্ছা পরিবজায় সম্ভাষণ জনাওক ভাৰতৰ মাটিতে গঢ় লৈ দিগন্তৰ পৰা ওলাই আহিছে লাইট কম্বেট হেলিকপ্টাৰ
Namaskar, good afternoon, Sarang helicopter display team. आज सारंग एक के सह पायलट है स्क्वाड्रन लीडर राहुल. Lieutenant Colonel Varun. The degree of difficulty. Leading the formation is Wing Commander 5, Echelon Formation.
এতিয়া আপোনাৰ সোঁফালৰ পৰা চাপি আহিছে শক্তিশালী C-130 যে
There it goes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And a bonus snap roll.
আপোনাৰ সোঁফালৰ পৰা আহিছে IS-78 Midas.
কন্ট্ৰোল বিমান উইক ফৰ্মেশ্যন
আৰু এবাৰ গতিশীল হীৰা লাচিত ঘাটৰ ওপৰেৰে
উইং কমাণ্ডাৰ শোভিত মিশ্ৰা উইং কমাণ্ডাৰ ভালিয়া উইং কমাণ্ডাৰ হেমৰাজ.
So those were the daring acrobatic skills of our Indian Air Force fighters, the Indian Air Force celebrating 93 glorious years of its service. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.